GDP Live. Hey guys, how you doing? We're live on YouTube at Baby Mermaid Productions. We are live all over the world, mainly just in central Pennsylvania. But this is a Gross Domesticated podcast. This is the Gross Domesticated podcast live, aka GDP Live. I'm your host, Pat George. We go live every Monday, every Wednesday, and every Friday from 11 a.m. until 1 p.m. You can join in live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday by calling in 717-559-2971, or you can pound off in the chat. If you join along and you watch live at Baby Mermaid Productions on YouTube, you can watch live and chat along. I read the comments. They show up here on the screen. Oh, wait, over here on the screen. This is a schedule over here. And this is a number right here also. So if you're watching this right now, you can call the number and either talk to me live. You can send a text message, or you can leave a voicemail at any point if you want to call that number, and I will play it on the air. So if you guys are here, that means that you survived the weekend, much like many of us. It's been really fucking weird, like a lot of weird stories, but I'm just grateful that you guys are here. So thanks for watching, thanks for listening. I hope everybody is well. Hold on. Just speaking of people, just reminded me I should probably share this. I always feel like this is the part where the production. This is always where if somebody were to call in or to pound off or anything like that. Anytime when I used to do this on Instagram, when people would join, I could always use that opportunity for when they're talking, not to ignore them, but to do a little bit. Talking and doing stuff is a little bit hard for me, but definitely like typing things or like clicking, like focusing on what like actually I'm doing is a little bit harder as far as multitasking. I can pay attention to a question, process it, and still be able to do things on my phone. I don't like doing that because it's not a good visual. It always makes me feel like the person may think I'm ignoring them, but it just helps a lot of times as far as podcasting or live streaming that you can have somebody to kind of vamp a lot of times. That's the word. So, and as I was explaining that, I took time to stop doing what I was doing so I could give a better explanation of what I was doing. That's what I'm talking about. Prioritizing, not always the best with me. But we are live and pounding off. Come join us. See, this is better. This way I know I am I dictate it to myself. And I know that there we go. Share that. Go back home. Guy at jiu-jitsu I think got into a fight this weekend and everybody in class was like, "Good job, buddy." It was really funny. Sorry. Got distracted up by the timeline. Share one more time. Share to a group. Boom, babies. Oh, yeah. Go on now. Yeah, that's what I said. Go ahead and share it. Fucking phones, man. Technology in general. Speaking of phones, actually, I was getting my my old phone skis out because I am somebody who likes to recycle. I sent my setting up to go film Hacks. That's right. Hacks is back to filming today. And so it's tonight actually. So busy Monday. This first thing this morning I had jiu-jitsu. Then had then fucking broke. The first thing this morning broke the goddamn coffee maker. Now our coffee maker, technically the house's coffee maker is me. I am the coffee maker for the house. But first thing in the morning, I don't necessarily like chug a cup of coffee in the morning. I kind of sip it. Actually, this is only my second cup, so I actually may not even have to pee today. Of course, now I said it out loud. But we don't have like a plugged in coffee maker. We do the Chemex. I think it's called Chemex. It's like a pour over thing. It's like a juice carafe that you see a lot of times at restaurants or something like that, or wine carafe, like the kind of like hourglass shaped a little bit. It's basically, and you use a cone filter. You pour the coffee in there, and then you pour hot water over it. We use that, and then like a stovetop kettle thingy or whatever it's called, the the thing that whistles. Um, so this first thing in the morning, I get up and I try to start the coffee. I try to time it perfectly. It's weird. I start my day challenging myself immediately. Like I try to challenge myself to not hit the snooze bar. I was actually doing. I had a really good streak of not going back to sleep for what felt like a pretty long time. Uh, I definitely. It's weird. Even during the quarantine, like I still was like, nope, timer went off. Like alarm went off. Let's get up. Let's get going. Even if I didn't really have anything to do. So woke up. The alarm went off. Fuck yeah, dude. First try, right back. Start my streak back. Go into the kitchen. Then I immediately I tried to get the coffee going. Get the water on the stove. Get the get the coffee in the. Hey Ian, how's it going, buddy? Uh, get the coffee on the pot, or get the coffee ground. Sorry, in the filter. Get the water on the stove, and then that's when I go do all my dirty business in the bathroom, just to keep it vague. And there's some close calls. There's some really close calls. I try to do that all, and then also chug at least 20 ounces of ice cold water first thing, and that gets everything, moving. Much to the chagrin of a friend of mine who does not believe that's a fact. But I tried. So I'm immediately like racing myself. I'm immediately waking up, saying like, "All right, don't go back to sleep." Immediately try to get one thing accomplished before you reward yourself with a nice bathroom trip. Onesies or twosies, whatever the emergency is, it's usually an emergency first thing in the morning, especially after drinking nice cold, ice cold water. I said nice cold, but it's also ice cold. So, and basically just trying to get ready before a friend of mine usually picks me up for jujitsu. So I don't know what it is. I don't know exactly why I started talking about that, about all the challenges. But even then, it's weird. Like it's something that like it's a goal. It's an easy, achievable goal that you can. That's totally within your grasp. But it's also like, it's also. I don't know how to put it. It's interesting because it's like. It's so it helps, like something like that. Maybe it is mind over matter, because that was a thing we were talking about. Buddy of mine, when I told him like, no, dude, the water thing is legit. I've noticed that my day is coffee's not as important as far as like to get my day going, to get me going. The coffee is more of again, like it's a thing that I use that is more for and now it's needed. Now it's like a drug, like a literal drug. But it's more, I don't know how to put it. Like the routine, maybe the mind over matter, or the routine of accomplishing that little goal, something like that. Even if it's making a list. Like I make a list. I made one for after the show of the things that like it's stuff that like I can do at a different time, or it's not necessarily important, but I want to get like some things accomplished, because if I have it's already going to be from start to finish. I have to be in Philly, New Jersey area. I don't know, actually even know where the place is technically, but it's quite a trek to get there for filming of Hacks this evening. We're going to be filming Hacks this evening, and and it's like it's to start your day at like 4 o'clock in the morning, and then to just I just fill in the gaps, because it's like, all right, today's going to be a busy day. I also have days where like, even though I wake up, first thing or something like that, and I get, I go train or do whatever. Uh, I still like, even if I don't have anything else to do that day, I have a weird like not day off anxiety. I know how to handle my days on. I know how to handle a busy day. And a busy day I'll even be able to fit more into, and it'll be more motivation for me to. But maybe I feel like I should start planning my days off too, because a lot of times days off equal off days. They feel weird to me. I don't normally like. I just like it does. I don't feel relaxed from it. What's up, Casey? How's it going? Why am I not getting a view count on this? This is so strange. But what up, Casey? Casey's in the chat. How's it going? Um, but yeah, there's not like a. It's not. It's a weird thing, like, to not know how to have a day off, and not that I'm like, oh, I'm always grinding. I have an anxiety where if I like, that's why the structure or the routine is, even though it's things that I like, because again, I don't view necessarily jujitsu as exercise. I view it as a thing that I really like doing. Yeah, I know. It's weird. The I think there might be like a timing thing with the stream. I think there's like a little delay or something. I don't know exactly what the issue is, but hold on a second. Maybe hold on. If there is an issue, check. There we go. Hello, hello, hello. Yeah, I don't know. It's not. It may not. It may not completely sync up. I apologize about that. But I think it's something to do with the program or maybe the stream. It might be the connection that my goddamn internet has. But I apologize about that, Casey. It is not you. It is me. So if there's a little bit of a delay, I apologize. But if, as long as you can hear me clearly, I can see your pounding. She keeps. You don't have to keep restarting, hoping it changes. It should be fine. Most likely, it's just the video's not catching up to the audio. That's an issue that I definitely have to look into. But I will. Oh, it's good now. Perfect. All right. Maybe it was something with the cord. I don't know. Maybe I fucked up something. But there may be delays or something like that. But I don't ever see jujitsu as like a thing that I need. It's a thing that I like to do. So I obviously that's showing success. So I think I'm gonna start planning. I know this is a fucking weird way to start out the show, but like over the weekend I found that like I literally just don't know what, like I have things that I enjoy to do. I enjoy doing, but I don't I'll play a video game or two. I'm not necessarily the best gamer in the world, but I definitely and even Kirk Griffiths has reached out to me multiple times. Great comedian, great friend, great podcaster, Proper Ebonics, one of the co-hosts, and he always offers or always asks like, "Hey, do you want to play some UFC online or something like that?" Because it's we have that common interest. I love talking MMA with him, and we have yet. I even purchased the game when it went on sale, to in hopes of playing that because I like the version of it before UFC 3, and every time I'm like, I'm doing something else. I'm sorry, buddy. But it's another thing that it's my days off on Saturday and Sunday when I get to go and just train at MMA or something like that for like a couple hours is the greatest because I don't have to look at my phone. I'm not like all that shit. It's and I think that's gonna come with the world kind of opening back up. But planning my days off, planning the things I like more, I think is fun. I was getting out of the truck this morning when my buddy was dropping me off. I had mentioned that I was going to go start filming hacks tonight, and I explained like, oh yeah, I'm going to be playing a lot more golf. And I was like, so if you ever want to play golf, he's like, yeah. He's like, yeah, we can play that for some time. And I was like, oh shit, I forgot he likes to golf too. My buddy, who also really likes doing jujitsu that I train with all the time, also really likes playing golf. That new thing that I like doing for fun. So he's somebody that definitely has to plan his off time because he doesn't have a lot. He has kids. He's got his own business that is like thriving. He has a lot going on, so there's not a lot of free time. So he does have to plan that stuff. But yeah, like yeah, I'm gonna go fucking play some golf. Planning off time. It's like it's we do it with our vacations. I oftentimes will uh not totally give ourselves an itinerary, but we have to do that. We have so much family all over, like even spread all over Florida, that if we're going to make sure that we visit friends and then also any of our actual family, we have family that lives down south, we have family that lives central Florida, we have different, like, not that there's not a lot of not getting along. I think there's only like her mom and her dad, like they're not really gonna hang out too much, but pretty much everybody else is kind of commingled. You can commingle pretty much everyone out. So I don't know. I hope you don't feel stress. I heard you talking about self care. No, not. Well, and to clarify, Casey, I was talking about basically having so much anxiety with having like not like with me not having a like a real like day job. My days are filled with either I need to plan out. I actually even did it in my in my book here, my little production book. I have my thing here of my all of my like I want to do jujitsu on Monday. What do I do? Jujitsu from 6 a.m. to 7. GDPLive 11 to 1. Edit, post GDP. Usually, but I'm streaming now, so I can actually update this. I made this a little while ago, and even that stuff, I figure there's a benefit of like I put in like day off or something like that, or like one day is like jujitsu, 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. What the fuck? Why did I put 8? But that I guess maybe because those are comp training days, because that training for competitions for jiu-jitsu or anything like that. Having that anxiety of like, even on my days on, I feel like the busier my day is, the more I can handle that chaos, with less expected of me and more just like I have to more free time. I kind of clam up, and a lot of times even I feel like I've noticed the way I perform best in most scenarios is last minute. Like if I spend too much time dwelling, so if there's nothing on the horizon, if there's only the next thing on the horizon, like I have a show this Saturday, super excited about it. Doesn't feel like necessarily like work or anything like that, but it's still like a responsibility. I have to like either fill up all of my time until then, and then after that I can have a day off, or just plan my time better. The structure gives me more peace. I guess is essentially what I'm coming to the realization here. Ian Strong's pounding off a little bit in the comments. He says, "I have the delay too, but I just have you in the background at work, so I don't care." Yeah, this is. I mean, really, I'm a audio producer at heart, guys. The video is never really going to be my strong suit, and that's something I'm being completely transparent on. YouTube, the video format. The video format. I do know that a lot of people listen to music on YouTube, so hopefully those are going to be some peeps that we can snatch out of the algorithm. But the delay will be here because the internet and or technology in general kind of hates me, and I've given it a good reason. I've given it a really good reason, so I'll try to keep I'll try to keep the audio quality crisp, clear. But I'm just excited that not only did I come to the realization of structure in all forms, like even if I say, oh, from this 2 to 3 minute block, you can do whatever you want, or 2 to 3 hour block minute, 2 to 3 hour minute block hour. God damn it. Then like I know, okay, so I literally don't. There's nothing even that I expect of myself in this time. You sound like Jack Handy, and that's okay. Yeah. exactly. And I feel like Jack Handy. I feel. Wait, no. I feel like what was the other guy? Uh, fuck. Who's the self Stewart? Stewart, that guy. I like myself. I'm a good person. Like he looks in the mirror. You remember the self affirmation guy? I feel like that. Guys, I like structure, and you know what? That's okay. I feel okay about that, guys, and I'm really comfortable knowing that the the fact that I like days off. I like days on because my days on don't really feel like work, except for something like today where I have to drive to a place. I have to, and then other than that, it's just hanging out with comedians and you know what I mean. Like that doesn't ever feel like it. What's up, Ron? How's it going, buddy? We got OG in the chat as well. How's it going, bud? Casey is saying I'm under my trailer scooping water into a bucket because the ice maker leaked puddles under here. Thanks for keeping me company. Oh my fucking god, Casey. I would. That sucks. God damn it. I hope. And look, it's weird, right? Even on my days off, if something like I hope this is a day off. I hope you don't have to. If this happened on a day that I worked, I feel like I would react more. I was gonna say I would react overly more. I would be more irate because I would be like, "Fuck! I have things I have to fucking do." You know what I mean? Like even if it's like I have other like I need to time. I want to have my shower timed right so I can make sure that my hair doesn't look like a piece of shit when people are looking at me. That's all it is. I don't care about necessarily how I look. I guess like it's weird. All right, so I don't know if this is gonna make sense. I started to think about this and I'm like, I don't know if this makes sense. I don't care. I don't care like personally what people think of me, like look at me or whatever. I'm thinking like for their consideration, so they're not like I'm 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 being as comfortable as I can be while at the same time not giving them any more distractions necessarily. And I know that sounds silly because I'm wearing a fucking bandana and the hair thing, but I just want it doesn't feel like it doesn't feel like accessories. Everything pretty much is functional. Like the bandana is keeping the hair out of my eyes. I'm growing my hair out because I want it longer. I'm trying you know what I mean? Like all of the things are explained, but when thinking of like so when wearing like I don't care necessarily what I smell like, but I want to smell good and I don't want to smell like fucking stinky onions or whatever. So those things like I just for to be considerate. I'm trying to be better at being on time. I was not too late today, right? I think I was only like 7 minutes, 8 minutes off today. Not bad. Even though there's a delay with the video, that doesn't count. We're not adding that time. So only about a 7-minute delay. Not bad. But yeah. Okay. Yeah. Oh, right. Stuart, I'm good enough. I'm strong. Yeah, that's what it is. I'm good enough. I'm smart enough. And doggone it, people like me. Right. I need that. I don't know if I need the. I know people. I hope people like me. But that's why I do the things that I do. That's what, like I go, not in so that people like me. It's so that I can be as comfortable with being the person I am. But I also like, yeah, I hope people like me. But I don't do anything out of malice in that sense. There are things that I do, but anytime I have what was it? Like I said, the considerate things of like saying like trying to be on time, trying to be more be more consistent. I think that's the key. That's what I'm talking about. Is like not just on the day off if my fucking refrigerator leaks. Like if it's a day off, I'm like, yeah, well, I got fucking time, whatever. I can do whatever. But if it's like if I have if I have a day, like I still need to have that. All right, well, I have time to clean. Like I've been better at that, but I think it started. It only started because I had a job that I didn't really care about. So I was like, if I'm late, I'm fucking late. If I'm not, whatever. But that's not. Then you're just working at a job you don't care about. So while it's, I don't know, guys. I think there's a point of too much self assessment, which just becomes like, it just turns into a fucking anxiety for sure. Oh, she called off because well, you know what? But you earned it. You're gonna earn this day off. After this, now you don't have to worry about anything. Hopefully. Wish. Hold on. Ian says, "I wish." Yeah. Hey guys, hold on. I wish I took. I wish I took the day off. The vaccine side effects hit me hard over the weekend. Dom had that too. Dom got hers, I think, Friday, and she preemptively did take Saturday off. She did not. She already knew. Okay, well, I'm getting the second shot Friday. I'm going to take Saturday off. But she had to go back to work Sunday. But she seemed fine. I asked her if she felt better, like she didn't feel, and she sounded better. She didn't sound like bleh, bleh, bleh. She was, and that's what it was. Her arm hurt pretty bad, and she just generally just felt blah. I think she had chills, like she was covered up. The house is pretty chilly though. So so I guess Ian. So, but at least now you're vaccinated. You're vaccinated. I started to say vaccinated, and then tried to save it by saying vaccinated, and I just fucked everything up, guys. Words, not my strong suit. Casey says, "Get well soon, Ian. That sucks." Hell yeah. Oh wait, no, hold on. There's a vapor barrier. It's like a big trash bag. I've been scooping water pockets since 9 a.m. Eesh. Jesus Christ. A vapor barrier. I don't know what the fuck that is. Get well. She says, "Kate, thank you. I like you, Pat. I like you too, Ian." Fever is gone, but I still feel sluggish and have an achy body parts. Yeah. So I really don't feel. Dom said seems to remember that I had more of a reaction than I remember, but I don't remember it being like too bad. I don't think I had like a fever or anything. I just did kind of feel like shit, but I'm pretty sure I still. No, you know what? I might have even taken some time off of like training and shit too. I don't know if that was like because usually if I think that might have been it. I either thought it was I was suffering with allergies at the time, and or I thought possibly let me make sure that I'm not sick so I don't go. So but I don't remember feeling like too bad. But it can take a lot. I've heard fucking horror stories. Obviously, some of the ones people having the side effects, they're obviously something that Don brought up this weekend, which I was like, yeah, maybe. She's like, well, they're giving it to children now, so I mean, it must be safe. And it's like, yeah, I don't know if that checks out, but I see that. I also see that like, damn, I got it pretty early on considering how many people are getting it now, and it's because of the little actual day job that I do have now. So it could be life-saving, or it definitely didn't kill me. So it's at this point I gotta. Before I was giving credit to masks, and it feels great to go back to not washing my hands. Oh man, I love it. It's so good. Sometimes I even forget. I just go days. If I didn't shower, my hands probably would never see water unless I was doing the dishes. Just kidding. Well, not totally, actually. I don't. Do you guys wash your hands after you go to the bathroom at home? Because it did not become a stigma during the pandemic, is my point. I don't think it was never necessarily a thing, like washing your hands you always should have been washing your hands for that amount of time. Every time you wash your hand, that's always been how long you're supposed to be washing your hands. This is not just because of the pandemic. That's proper hand washing. There is a standard set, and that's it. It was set before the pandemic, and it'll be the same. But now, like, so it always felt like a stigma in public. Because look, man, to be completely honest, with how much I go to the fucking gym and shit, I shower fucking every goddamn day. So Unless it touches my hand somehow, but also I don't necessarily, I don't know. I don't get as grossed out by that shit. It's all my stuff anyway. I don't know, but if it's a matter of, like, I'm not a filthy motherfucker with shit under my fingernails or anything like that. I keep them trim, but there's also a line. So it feels nice to be able to fully go back to not washing my hands. I still sanitize, which is, I feel like that would have been enough the whole time too. But at first I was giving credit to, all right, well, I'm going to give this hand washing thing a real go and actually focus on doing it that way. All I got were super dry hands. Then I'm like, oh, it's the mask wearing. That's what it is. That's what's keeping me safe. Also, something that I could have totally had, I think. We may totally have had it. We were also in Florida right before the shutdown. Totally could have been super spreaders. But then, now, it was a mask for a while. Never went to double mask. I'm still probably going to wear the mask traveling, because when we go to Florida or anything like that, definitely to Florida. But after a while, it's like, she's vaccinated, I'm vaccinated. I'm a dude, you're a dude. They're pretty sure everything kind of works with variants. Also, they're not like, look, man, I just trust, I hope, I have faith. Shout out to Friday show when Kenny Robb was joining the show. I hope everybody got a chance to check that out. I put faith in the fact that that the reason that they gave the mandate to say, like, okay, now you don't have to, is because they have enough reported vaccines that even if they have more reactions, then it'll be okay, or it should be okay. That's the kind of, okay, then we'll just go with that. That's the faith that I put in, is in science, because I don't believe the CDC is the government. I don't wash my hands at home sometimes. Yeah, well, look, again, if I get, not literally, but also literally, if I get shit on my hands, I'm gonna wash it off. If I eat wings, do I not wash my hands? I'm a weird, and also I'm very self-conscious about shit. Again, going back to my appearance and or smelling bad around people having to see like a big gross chunk of food in my beard or sauce or something like that. I'm very conscious about wiping my face and my hands a lot, So it's a weird mix. I'm quite an enigma, in the sense that I'm at some points a germaphobe, and other points, or a clean freak, let's say, and other points like a kind of a slob, or gross, or eating stuff off the floor, all that stuff. I'm just glad that the CDC has given me the green light to go back to eating stuff off the floor, sneezing uncovered, open mouth is one of my favorite things. Shout out to Your Mom's House podcast that brought it up. They talked about, it was so funny. I looked right at Dom as soon as they were talking about it. At some point, Tom sneezes, and they talk about the fact that how much he loves sneezing. He says it's like one of his favorite things to do. And I was like, I've been saying that for fucking years. I've been saying a sneeze is, it's on level. It's one of my, first of all, it's one of the funnier. It's still one of the funnier body functions. I love hearing people's sneezes, because a personalized sneeze, I like a theatrical sneeze a lot of time. Like, I try to get everything out. If my body's saying there's stuff in here, we gotta spit it all out. I'm fucking, call me Slipknot, baby. I'm spit it out, baby. Bow. I give them a chew. Try to keep my eyes open. I never can. But a sneeze is low key one of the top body functions, feelings wise. Obviously, coming, they rank them. They talk about it on the thing, and I'm like, this is a gross. This is a GDPLive, goddamn, topic if I ever heard one. because it's rooted in the fact that I have been saying how much I've loved sneezes my whole life. I go, CDC says, Pat, go back to your favorite sneeze of all time. Go on, you can go do it. Go to Costco, be in the aisle, get a sniffle, take the mask down. You don't want to ruin your mask, and just boom, one of those. Ugh. It feels amazing. A drive sneeze. I used to be so self-conscious about driving and sneezing or anything like that. You know, like because you're closing your eyes, obviously. So if I'm driving and I get a sneeze, I hit that window, the automatic window too. Get that the one click, and it starts rolling down. And I just let it sit there. I'm the whole time concentrating until it's time, and just right out the window. Ugh. It feels amazing. Sorry, we got some pounding off here. Ron says, if you've been to a bar, everyone has had someone else's piss on their body in some aspect. All right, that's a weird stat, but I'm not gonna fact check you. I believe you. Either that or Ron is like, hey, if I've seen you at a bar, I've pissed on you. This is a weird thing. Maybe he's like marking his territory. Ian Strong says, I usually wash my hands or hit a pump of sanitizer after number 2, or using a urinal. Yeah, urinal's pretty suspect. I hate wearing flip-flops in a bathroom in general. Also, another weird thing, right? Totally into the body functions, don't wash my hands, all this other stuff. I will never take an uncovered thing, and I will, in most cases, probably into a public restroom, never take covered food or anything into a bathroom. Like, it's weird. If this little, I have my little coffee cup here. I got my glass here. Like, I turn immediately into the girl from Signs. It's contaminated. Toss it out. Like, that's useless to me now. As soon as it breaks the barrier, as soon as you cross the barrier into the bathroom with an uncovered drink, toss it out. I'm not gonna reuse that cup. I feel like all the microbes just immediately just kind of go like that. But for some reason, they don't do that to me. So I'm either covered in them when I leave the bathroom, because why would it attract only to the water? You know what I mean? With that same logic, it's flawed, because obviously I should be covered in germs. So why wouldn't I wash myself more? Ron says sneezes are awesome, except that food sneeze. Yeah. Ugh. Jesus, dude. I very rarely, I feel like I have dominion over my sneezes, much like my farts. Not my piss, though. Somehow still don't have the piss down. But my farts and my sneezes, I have them at my command, my beck and command. I rarely have a ruined sneeze, and I rarely get caught off guard by a sneeze. Usually I can time it either perfectly, but to be completely honest with you, Ron, I will sacrifice a mouthful of food just so I can get a better sneeze. I won't snipe. So actually, this is rooted in a superstition in a way. One of the few very long-standing superstitions that I have, and honestly, it's probably just actually kind of a little bit scientific, but now that I think about it, but the fact that the reason I don't stifle my sneeze is because if I do this, you pinch your nose and you do that thing, immediately I start to feel like I'm getting sick. It feels like my voice changes. It feels like I'm becoming a man. It feels like it just feels like it feels like it in that sense. It makes it adds up, because if you're sneezing to get all that shit out, if you keep it all inside of you, if you hold that sneeze inside, then you're solely just holding in the sickness. And I don't want to get down with the sickness, guys. I'm just doing it. I'm a punny son of a bitch today. This is punny. I just feel that it kind of warrants a shout out, because that's what, like, that, not that that reminded me that I love sneezes, but it is good to get the okay from the one major kind of governing body that I've been following through a pandemic, of saying, like, even when they kind of threw up their hands and are like, we're going to stop just reporting shit. I was hearing shit still secondhand. I was really getting all my news from Dominique, but I was getting all the news. I'm like, no. What did the CDC say? And she would tell me what the CDC said, and I go, okay, that's my news. There you go. Because if we're all just going to choose our news, that's fine. But I'm still going to take it. So at least if they are lying or held, they're wrong at some point, something's proven, there's somebody that you can, there's a governing body, there's a guy ahead of this, there's somebody that was saying, I'm sure, and they're fucking doctors, they're it's science, bro. So it's good to know that the scientists are on my side, and they're glad that I'm able to be completely disgusting again. So we're vaccinated. We're gonna be headed back to. I didn't realize how much I use my mouth at work until masking it. Holding tools, zip ties, using it to tie knots. I feel hindered in my work. Yeah. Even even something like talking, like communicating, because if you guys are walking around on like roofs and shit like that, if people can't hear, look out, whatever, something, I don't know. It could be, it not only will it throw off your routine or something like that, but it also, I can't imagine just how annoying it can be. It just, you get used to it. I know it sucks, like having them on and everything at work, but I don't know. Like, so if you're vaccinated, what there should be? Is it your work that's doing it, or is it the place you're working that's making you? Because I feel like if you're working outside and you're vaccinated, I think you should be okay to start putting shit in your mouth again. Go for it, Ian. Start putting stuff in your mouth. Take a video of it. Tie knots with your Do you put a cherry stem in your mouth and then tie knots in it? But or get one of those like just cut a hole in your mask. Just do it Muppet style, bro. So this weekend was full of a lot of excitement. Another bone break at a UFC event. I'm not going to show anybody the video. It's also it's just kind of painful to watch. Like it's like because it's more, there's like a sound with this one. And it was an arm lock, and it really shouldn't have happened. But the guy's a little older. He's like 41 years old. But UFC 262 had so much drama. I was explaining it to Dominique, and I this is how I know it's exciting drama, because even when I'm explaining it to her and she's interested, I know it's good. That's when I know it's good. But there was so the fighter I was talking about was Jacare Souza, and he got stuck. His arm kind of got trapped, but at the same time he was attempting a submission his opponent, and he didn't tap. I think he screamed in pain, but there was a loud pop. It was weird looking. He's okay. He's reported from the hospital. He's gonna have surgery. He didn't tap. Like so this is a weird thing. What it's. So I'll get into some more of the drama about some other things, but since I started by talking about this, I don't understand the difference between toughness and, like, I don't even know. Like, I know that there's like, I don't want to say stupidity. Carelessness. Let's just say that. Carelessness. Toughness and carelessness. What's the difference between toughness and carelessness? Because something like that, a little backstory. So each one of the fights, there wasn't a lot of like drama. There's not a lot of shit talking between a lot of the fighters in most of these, like except for Tony Ferguson, which is the person I'll get to in a little bit. But I guess in Jacare's
fight, his opponent, I don't remember. Hold on, I don't actually have his name, but whoever his opponent was said something along the lines of, "I'm a better opponent than you." 262 prelims. It was the main event of the prelims. So let me put that. Did any of my words go in there? Hello, computer. I think I'm asking too much of my computer right now. It's probably gonna fucking fuck something up here. Chandler Oliveira. I said prelims, right? You guys heard that, right? Okay. So, yeah, this is gonna be a phone lookup because the computer sucks dick. I'm gonna fire you, pal. Just kidding. You're my favorite employee. All right, so 262. I guess I could probably. He was probably on Instagram. Of course, now. Okay, I just said that out loud. So now it was like one of the top clips in my feed for. I couldn't fucking avoid it. I also saw another fighter in a different organization had one of those fucking the leg fucking breaky thing, the Anderson Silva / Chris Weidman deal. And it's like, man, you need a look. That is one time where absolutely I do completely agree with the fact that you should have that little sensitive content or whatever. So, oh yeah, here's the Tony Ferguson thing. So yeah, it's not here. But Jacare fought. Oh, actually, you know what? I have the card saved. What am I doing? There we go. Oh, thank God for saved fucking posts. I love Instagram sometimes. Sometimes. Nope, of course. It's not on the main. It's not on there. So Jacare, whoever it was, like said in the lead up to the fight that he considers himself a better grappler than Jacare, who is black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, world champion. Also, I think something like that happened where he's never been submitted or something like that, at least in the UFC. And it was a thing where that fucking fired him up. Dude, he took that he took a lot of offense by that and was doing pretty well in the fight, but you could tell they even said it in the commentary of saying like he was fighting angry. He did not seem too composed, but he was doing pretty well. Like it wasn't totally one-sided. It wasn't like he was getting rocked. And even in the finish, it was in a scramble, and it ended with his arm kind of getting trapped, literally getting trapped, and then also getting hyperextended to the point of breaking the bone up here. But never even like reacting really. Never even like going like like he wasn't like or he was just like whatever, I don't know. So either there was very little to no damage, he had so much adrenaline, or he was just the best poker face ever. But that was crazy, right? Later on in the fight, or later on in the card, in the main card, it was Tony Ferguson against Bernil Dariush, and both excellent grapplers. And something that I get really excited about is the fact that when they're both really good grapplers and they actually fucking grapple. That's nice, you know? It's not like a Ben Askren thing where you're watching it and you're like, oh shit, here we go. We're going to watch him fucking box for a little bit. Oh, great. Just grapple, dude. Just get down there and grab him. Just take him down. Stop this shit. So I was watching, and in Tony Ferguson's last fight, Tony Ferguson is kind of like he's somebody who's like a personality fighter. He's somebody blades and shades. He's always got shades on, and he's talking about his elbows and his all this other stuff. Oh yeah, I have a video with this. He's got all this other stuff like great at press conferences. He's fucking quite the personality. He is somebody in his last fight who just recently fought the now champion Charles Oliveira in his last fight, and has always been very untraditional in his training methods, or at least the stuff that he posts. that he trains for fights. And in his last fight during against Charles Oliveira, another world class grappler, he got stuck in a armbar, much like Jacare. Actually, it wasn't as compromised looking. It was just a kind of more of a just a traditional straight up armbar, and it was dead to rights, and was hyperextended his arm. Didn't break it, but definitely pops something in it. It looks terrible. Didn't tap. Ended up finishing the fight, losing the fight, but finished the fight. Then he's fighting this weekend. Gets stuck in a leg lock, and definitely something pops in his knee. You can kind of see like didn't break his leg, and didn't tap. But his opponent obviously felt it. The other one was at the end of the round. This was he felt something pop, and he's like, and he didn't tap. So he's like, all right, well, I have to let the guy's like fucking Dariush is like a very very much Christian dude, and there's like I think there's a point of like humanity. Like, look, man, this is a sport and everything, but like you gotta look out for yourself here. He's like, him and the ref care more about Tony Ferguson than Tony Ferguson does. So this is 2 fights back to back that he's not only had like just been dominated in a fight, but also just taking damage for like he just was just lost in that position. Like he lost the fight. That should be, as far as the sportsmanship, he seems like a psychopath. And then I forgot. Oh yeah, there's lots of lore about his training methods. And I just so happened to be browsing around Instagram today, and there was a video of it. And I came to when I was watching this, the first initial thought that I had was, is Tony Ferguson, like, could he just be like Steve-O? Is he just Steve-O? Because he's definitely like a low-key Steve-O. Like, this is a video. The caption says, "One of a kind." This is from MMA Karma, on Instagram. I don't know, whatever your run of the mill MMA Instagram posts are, but like he's at a fucking like Sky Zone. Do you know what I mean? Trampolines. And this is me, a guy sitting in a fucking chair in an attic, like openly criticizing a professionally paid athlete who's shredded. Like, it all kind of like, this doesn't make sense to me. I don't know what that stuff means. Like, I don't and there was a lot of shit talk with if anybody's that follows MMA news or anything like that, look up the recent stories about Diego Sanchez and his manager / coach / guru, I think they call him. He is not traditional, not unlike Tony Ferguson here, but also like there was a video. I don't know. I won't probably post that if I can actually even get out of here. Come on now, get out of it. Why isn't this going out of here? But it's like it comes down to the fact of like, why is it that Diego Sanchez and his coach get so brutally mocked about their training and shit, when I feel like, what even happened here? Jesus Christ. There we go. Oh boy. This computer. You gotta... It's alright. Everything's okay. You okay, computer? Is everything okay? But I feel like it's a little unfair to have so much critique of a fighter and the one guy. Obviously, Tony Ferguson is nicer to people. I guess people like to interact with him more, or they like to watch him fight. Not that people didn't like watching Diego Sanchez fight, but there's like a video of Diego Sanchez hanging upside down from a bar, from like a pull-up bar, chin-up bar, or something like that. like his legs, hanging over it, kind of like that, and like I'm like a bat, arms crossed, and the guy, I don't even know his name, but it doesn't matter. I'm not. It's like Josh Fabia or something like that, I think. Um, and he's just kind of not like completely, but like going like this, like punching his head, like around his skull and everything. Then he starts like throwing kicks at him and shit. And Diego has like his like eyes closed and shit. It's like he's like meditating or something. And they posted the video. It's not like somebody leaked the video. Like they're posting it like, yeah, watch this badass shit here. And everybody was like, what the fuck is this? But when they see Tony Ferguson doing that, they're like, that's old Tony. Old Tony Ferguson. Well, it's obviously not adding up to like the top contenders in his division. So what the fuck, dude? At what point is he just Steve-O? Steve-O is somebody who asks MMA fighters to put him in submission holds. Steve-O is somebody who fucking just jumps off a goddamn building or fucking flips and does like something into a kiddie pool or a trampoline park or something. He's not, like it's like he's doing. It's like when I loved Jackass growing up, and me and my buddy got our video camera out and our little Razor scooters, and we started like just purposely rolling into a ditch, and go, oh, we're just like those guys, huh? Luckily, it didn't really go much further than that. I don't think. Not that I can remember. I don't, but but it's like, why isn't Tony Ferguson just like mocked viciously as much as he's not, and not that he's not having, like, he's getting dealt with these people. They are dominating him, and he looks good. He looks like, and you've seen him in past fights, but even in past fights, his thing is just kind of like, I'm gonna just kind of like run at you, and however many times you hit me, cool, I can take it. I don't know, can he? Like, or can he? And is that his superpower? I think he's great too. I like him as well. I also like Diego Sanchez, but like that weirdo, whatever his manager is, kind of fucking ruined it for him. Not that Diego's not that much of a weirdo either, but that stuff is interesting because it's like when one guy is a really big personality or liked more, I guess, by I don't know. That's the thing. I don't know if he's just like liked more by the people that, like, by Dana White and the people that run the UFC or something, or maybe his management is cooler and they're like, all right, well, Tony, fucking train however you want, as long as you show up and you make weight, fucking who cares? But Jesus Christ. And then there was Caitlin, what's his face? What's her face? Sorry, I used to love watching Diego Sanchez fight. Yeah, he was great. Ian Strong's pounding off in the comments saying how much he used to love watching Diego Sanchez fight. He's been somebody who has, I think, been fighting in the UFC since I've been watching MMA in general. Like, since I've been watching the UFC regularly. Like, since I became a regular fan of it. And he's somebody that's like, it's always been entertaining, just like Tony Ferguson. And you know what? That would be a great fight to see. To see, like, Diego Sanchez and Tony Ferguson fight. Those two are at closer to each other's level than, like, Tony Ferguson and, like, some like Dariush or even Khabib. Like, there was a long standing thing. There was a whole long how many times they made the fight Tony Ferguson against Khabib, and so many times that got rescheduled. It never happened. It never ended up happening, and for the longest time, people were like, man. It was like a meme, like, you think where you see the perfect society in the future, and you're like, if Tony and Khabib ever happened, stuff like that. Like, the people held it at that high of a regard. So when you see this, when you see where he is now, I don't know if that's what he's been doing the whole time. I feel like, yeah, he had a great natural ability for a long time, but then also I think eventually people just athletes, not just like, you know what I mean, like to put it into reference, if you are familiar with like earlier days of UFC, like I feel like Tony Ferguson is going the way of like Tank Abbott, of this kind of like, I'm gonna just fucking beat the shit out of you, and then I'm gonna roll around, and I'm gonna like just unstoppably just moving for you. Like him against Justin, he got fucking wrecked by Justin Gaethje, man. Like he was just getting pounded. Like he got knocked out on his feet. It was weird. I think Tony and Diego are in a different weight classes. Plus, Diego was released by the UFC. Yeah, I know that's what I said earlier. But I'm saying that would have been a good fight to see. Thank you for the correction, though. I always appreciate a good correction. But yeah, that would have been a good fight to see, because they could have, it would have been more like, or even it was originally supposed to be Cowboy and Diego Sanchez fighting in the last UFC event, but there was but that all the bullshit happened with Diego Sanchez and his fucking manager, and the UFC released him, and they booked a different fighter for Cowboy, and of course he lost. Because Cowboy's another one that's like, it's like they're athletes now. They're not, and that's the thing is Cowboy, like the people that said like he took a dive against Connor or anything like that, it's ridiculous. All that shit. I think he's just at a level now where he's like Jorge Masvidal is another example. Once you get to 50 professional fights, not all of them went like perfectly where you got out of it in the first round and you knocked him out without even getting touched once. Not all of them were Ben Askren. Jorge Masvidal has been fighting a lot of elite people and taking damage. He's not a ton, but he's been taking damage and shit like that. So after a while, you get older, you get a little bit more, you get more damage. It just happens, especially. And then when you're somebody like, okay, I've already had this many fights, taken this much damage, have this many fucking wars or whatever. Also, this person is like, the fighters now are athletes. They have like, they do all the shit that like football players do and shit, where they're like running underwater. They like take ice baths and like train multiple times a day. Like they're not just like in the traditional. It's like a Rocky versus Creed, I guess, or whatever. I don't enjoy watching Cerrone fight. I appreciate his toughness and his willingness to fight on short notice, but I don't like watching him fight. Yeah, I nowadays and I don't, and this is gonna, surprisingly enough, this is the thing I'm most worried about offending anybody in case they hear this, is I don't want it to sound like I'm like I'm like concerned for them. I like when I see Diego Sanchez fighting and he's not trained in the. I don't know if I don't know if it's a money thing. I don't know if it's like a CTE, kind of like a brain thing, like, or I don't know what any of that shit is, but Cowboy is somebody who's took a ton of damage, and I've seen him taking a ton of damage. He's somebody who has like a kid now and shit. Like, even he was saying after his last fight, after this most recent fight, that he was supposed to fight Diego Sanchez, which would have been more evenly matched. Their power is more equal, but the guy he was fighting is on his way up. He's somebody that's really wants to beat a fucking big name like Donald Cerrone, all this other shit, and he had a lot of power, and he just like he acknowledged it afterwards. He said, he's like, yeah, this might start thinking about, retirement. Not that this is the last fight, but I'd like to have one more. I think they should give. I would like it if they could give me one more, but he's also somebody who is again, he's given himself his whole career has been basically with the UFC as far as professional fighting. So I agree with you, Ian. Like there is it's a hesitation sometimes. I worry about it. After Anderson Silva broke his leg, I was so nervous about watching him fight, because I'm just like, God damn it, if something that traumatic, I don't want to see. I care about this person, like this guy. I feel invested because either I've followed them their whole career, You spend a certain amount of time rooting for it, or you just kind of get used to them doing well. Like Diego Sanchez was somebody who I don't think often would like lose fights, but he also would be very reckless. Frankie Edgar was one. That knockout, the most recent knockout of Frankie Edgar, where he took the knee from Sandhagen. Holy shit, that scared me. Even the Ben Askren one, where I was like, God damn, he looks dead. He looked like he killed him. When they go like stiff like that and they kind of statue up and they just clicking, that it's that stuff is like, God damn, man, that shit still. I don't enjoy that. The performance of it is one thing. There was a weird knockout this weekend too. Like I said, very eventful UFC. If you have a chance, just look into just say UFC 262 news. You don't even have to. I'm not saying watch any of the fights or anything. There's just some weird developments. Actually, I don't even know if that one would show up, but there's a different knockout. Barboza. I can't remember the fucking guy that Burgess, I think his name was. Last name was Burgess. It was a weird like delayed knockout. So there was like he caught him with I think it was just an overhand right or something like that. It was just a cross or something. Got him, and then he was like, and he's standing there, and then you just kind of see him backing up, like he was like losing his. It was like and when by the time his like back hit the cage, because he just was like falling back. Barboza was in the middle, and the guy he punched him like this, and then the dude had his back to his cage, but he was closer to Barboza in the middle. Just starts like walking backwards and just hits the back of the cage, and he like chased him, but he was kind of like everybody was confused, and they brought that up in the commentary saying like how like what I don't think anybody's seen something like that. You've seen like a delayed or it's a lot of times people call it like a walk off knockout or something like that, where they knock them out and they know, oh, they're out, like I'm just gonna walk. Sugar Sean O'Malley always tries to do it, or he got kind of people clowned him a little bit on his after his last fight because he tried to do it a couple times, but the guy wouldn't just stay down. But yeah, it's weird. Like it's like his equilibrium just started kind of giving out, and he just started like and you saw his eyes kind of like go like, what the fuck? Like he was cool, but then it was like, oh, did that just knock me out? Like, oh shit, I did. And then he just kind of went, and then fell back. But another story that I was, it's weird. You know, when you see something trending, I have a joke about it. I talk about, I like playing a game, Sports or Tragedy. It's basically whenever I go onto social media and I see a place trending, I see like, hashtag Houston. And I'm like, what happened? Is it a school shooting? Is it the basketball team did very well, the football team? What's going on here? But either way, a lot of hard work and planning paid off. So there is a story that I saw of just a bunch of, again, MMA memes of people saying like, my reaction when, or my face when, or something, or Caitlin Jukagan's likes on Twitter, I guess, were either I don't know the exact details of how it broke, but people were made aware of Caitlin Jukagan's likes, her public likes on Twitter, and I think a lot of people maybe aren't aware, maybe necessarily, or aren't aware. I don't think anybody thinks that people are going to look at their likes online or anything like
Call
that.
from
KG Records.
To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press 2.
Let's see. We're going to accept it. KG, is that you?
KG's in the building.
Hey, buddy, how you doing?
Chilling, man. Chilling. What number is this? Am I on air right now?
Yeah, you're
number?
on the air. Your image is not being shared right now, and you are officially KG.
That's what's up. Shout out world. Hello. I heard you were talking a bit UFC,
Uh-huh.
and KG wanted to chime in a little bit. He wanted to chime in.
Oh, dude, did you hear KG? Did you hear about KC?
KC,
Caitlin
what
Chukagan?
happened? Oh, yes, I did. Yes, I looked it up, and then when I saw the story, I looked further into it.
Very
Uh,
interesting, isn't it?
yeah,
Did you see actually what she liked? So do you want? So why don't you tell the people about what exactly broke with Caitlin Chukagan? A lot to deal with
yeah,
before a pretty heavy fight, in my opinion. This is a weird controversy to have to deal with.
yeah. Well, in terms of the controversy, in terms of what was online, or controversy in terms of the suggestion that she tapped.
Oh, I forgot about the tap. No, no, the tap I don't think was they I think they talked about it in the commentary. There was a weird thing where like it kind of looked like she would like planted her hand, but a tap is pretty definitive like or
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like
yeah.
and she didn't
It
do
didn't look like that.
yeah, it
It looked
didn't
like she was trying to grip her hands
yeah.
together.
Like she maybe
But
thought her
regard,
hand was going to be there. I've done that a couple times where I'm like I think my hand's going to be there and I'm kind of like I just it's basically like holy shit I got my arm free bam you know what I mean so it could be
yeah,
but I don't yeah I think
yeah.
no I was
That
talking about
seemed
the
very
one that happened
conspiracy. Yes,
right
I didn't like that they replayed that so much.
yeah
But with her online, so apparently, she people were checking her Twitter account because she likes to make comments during the fights, and she's a pretty popular fighter.
hmm
And I guess with Twitter, you could see what some of the fighters like. You could see their like history, and her like history was pretty detailed in terms of the pornography.
yeah
A lot of pornography of her liking that. It was
a lot of
some Ted
verified
Cruz stuff.
accounts
She a lot from I didn't see exactly what type of pornography. Apparently, a lot of it was bigger black men. That was what I've heard. Can you confirm this stuff?
I do believe some of the accounts that she liked or maybe even followed at the time were indeed blacked the website and the web series. If you're familiar with, I think it's a Brazers property. I'm not sure if that's it's a meme that you always see. You know the little white lady and then like the five tall black men behind her. You ever seen that meme?
That's just Saturday night for me, baby.
Take
That's
it
just Saturday
easy.
night for
Come
me.
on,
I don't know
KG.
about these memes,
But
but
no,
I could make some ideas as to what that would be, though.
it's kind of like it's like one of those things of like you've probably seen someone else's faces superimposed there or something like that. But it was a lot of most of the videos were like BBC and not the British one, and it was a lot
Uh,
of
you know,
blacked
I mean,
raw.
Billionaire Boys Club.
No, not Billionaire Boys Club either. I don't even know what that is. Here, I'm gonna see if let me see because I my thing was, do you know my I didn't know how it broke. Was it like just somebody was like, oh, I'm just kind of perusing uh Caitlin Chukagan's likes, like because I know I've done that a couple times where like I just look at it, but is that a thing that you can switch or is that like a thing that's like
I would imagine, I would hope it's a thing you could turn off because I wouldn't want people like to see my activity like that. That seems a bit personal. I'm not on Twitter as much, but I don't believe that that tool is accessible on Instagram. Maybe she, if it is, she went into press conference because they did ask her about it, and she was very jokey about it. She stated that her account gets hacked a lot,
mm,
and usually she kind of just plays it off.
yeah
Um, but even that, I was like, oh, that's it seems like I guess if you're not bothered by it, I guess it's one of those things. But if I guess I think most people would be like, oh, how do I get this solved, or
yeah
how do I change passwords? How do I add an extra exclamation point to the password so they can't hack in here?
yeah
But
I
she seemed pretty cool with it.
yeah
So who knows?
she
Power to
joked
her.
about it apparently like there was something about those Caitlin Chukagan tweets or whatever it was or likes or something like that. I guess she like joked about it in the press conference after her fight because that's what I was thinking is like the whole time my biggest thing is like is I don't think like look man you're into what you're into. It was pretty funny the fact that everybody I saw one post that made me literally laugh out loud. I don't get to say that a lot but
Well,
it got a little guffaw out of me because it was a guy that said holy shit I just realized Caitlyn Chukagan's husband is white and I was like, oh.
uh, oh,
It's like one of those things of like,
so I mean, what does that indicate?
I think
As
that's
in, like, it was.
it's like one of those things of like that. That's a weird thing. You know when like people talk about like people's families before a fight, or kids or moms or something like that, and they're like, "Hey man, don't fucking talk about my mom." Do you know what I mean? Like I
Yeah.
feel like this was kind of like one of those things when it's a female fighter and a male with a male husband, they're not like they're I think a lot of times, or a male spouse. I mean, they're yeah, I
My
know that
male
is
husband. No.
yeah, their male husband. Uh, they go. I think the dynamic is interesting sometimes, and
Yeah.
it's not as like cut and dry as like Pat Barry and Rose Namajunas, where like he's like, no, you're the best, you're the number, you're awesome. He obviously had a fighting career,
Right.
but I don't know if there's like that kind of weird, like there can be weird power dynamics or inadequacies sometimes in when it is like that. And I think just all of that shit not being like, she probably did not want to have that talk or address any of that shit before her fight, where she's just like, yeah man, I like fucking BBC porn, whatever. Like I whatever me and my husband do is our business, and also whatever I like on Pornhub or whatever is my business, but it should be my business.
Yeah.
But it's one of
It
those.
is interesting, the idea of like that too. Of the that's like the someone's cheap shot can be that of like, oh yeah, I heard your husband's white. Like I
Yeah,
saw your history.
not getting
I
what you
saw your
want at home,
history.
huh? I saw your history. Okay, you know what I mean? Like something like
Yeah.
that could be like a weird shit talk. That again, I'm not here to kink shame. I'm not here to judge you. I'm not here to do any of that. I'm just saying that it in my head, I would think going into it, everybody watching this right now is thinking, like, even when she came out, nobody like cheered, nobody booed, and she ran to the ring. I think she was like, I don't want to hear anybody going like, "Hey, I'm on the BBC." You know what I mean? I swear to God, Kirk, I'm not joking with you. And maybe this is a conspiracy theorist in my head. Sorry, I just said KG.
What? Well, who's that? I don't know who that
Sorry,
is.
I said
KG's
somebody
in
else.
the
You
building.
sound like somebody I know. I apologize. Uh, they went to I don't know the Houston rapper. I can't remember his name exactly, but they had a
Oh yeah, yeah. He was Trey the Truth, I believe, was in there.
yes,
I saw one of the rappers. Yeah, I did see he was in there.
Trooth, right, or something like that.
It's spelled incorrectly.
Okay,
That's what.
yes, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think there. Yeah, I know that was spelled incorrectly, but I think that's what it was, because they accidentally put that under Benil Dariush before they went to him or somebody else before the fight. They had that Chiron under, I think, Barboza, and I was like,
That's
that's
funny.
not the. His name is not the Truth. I don't think he's the Truth. He is, but
Wow, is Young Crusher in this fight tonight? That's crazy. Oh my
holy
gosh.
shit, that's crazy. But it was him. Then it went to Derek Brunson in the crowd, and then it went to Kevin Holland in the crowd,
Yeah,
and then it went to Derek Lewis in the crowd,
yeah.
and then it went to Caitlin Chukagian training in the back. I
Really?
swear to God,
Oh,
KG, it was.
I didn't even catch
And I
that.
go,
That's
okay, so even production wise, you couldn't just give her a break. I mean, like you couldn't just be like, just let's not have that. Maybe it's my stupid perverted brain, KG. Again, you
who is
remind me
this
so much of
Curtis person? Who is
Curtis.
that?
Curtis Blades. He's another fighter, heavyweight in the division. But
He's one of the fellow BBCs.
yes, I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Is like this weird thing of like, it seemed that was her name was trending with that story. So like that's where she's coming out to fight, and she is, even though there's nothing wrong with it, nobody's judging you. Do whatever you do, but like I think she's just thinking like that's on people's mind. Maybe I'm projecting. I honestly don't know.
No, I think I wouldn't be surprised with the UFC. I wouldn't be surprised if they did that intentionally as well. It seems like it's not something that would go past their radar.
Oh yeah,
It
they
is
were aware of it.
within belief that they could do something like that. Who knows? You know, they did entertain it at the press conference. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if someone had just a sense of humor with that.
Yeah.
It was a cool fight. It was a cool fight. It
Yeah.
was great to see how she, like, once she recovered from that tough situation second round, how she pretty much just dominated after that. And that's always cool to see. She faced a lot of adversity. The first round definitely kind of split. Second round wasn't looking good for her. Then she was able to get out of the full mount, and then she broke him off with her. I like her vocals when she kicks.
Gay,
She does
gay,
the very much like hey,
gay.
hey.
Yeah.
I'm like, I really hope this doesn't play into the whole controversy.
You'll appreciate this. You'll appreciate this. I had to stop myself multiple. I have to limit my stupid questions at MMA class. I feel like because because every time I go there, I have questions. I'm saving this one for next week's class. When I go in there, Kirk, I hope I don't get kicked out. God damn it, KG. Again, this is
oh my goodness.
this is so.
Yeah, you're good.
It's I want to ask, does it make a difference when you make a sound? Like, why do you make a sound when you're doing? Because they do it in class every once in a while too. Like I'll see, because there's a couple of fighters in there. There's a guy, DC. He's got a fight coming up in Virginia. And there's also another guy, Chase. I think he fights. There's a guy that was training there that had a Bellator fight coming up and all this shit. Like, so there's like fighters. I don't want them to like beat me up. You know, I don't want them to go like, you idiot, or like make fun of me or take away their confidence. What if that's a thing that they're like, they don't even notice that they do? You know what I mean? Like, what if that's like a tick that they have, and I'm gonna make them self-conscious about it? So when they're fighting, they're like, oh man, like I don't want to. Don't make a noise because Pat said it's weird when I make a noise.
Just a collective tick. I think it's this could be my guess. It's the vocal expression helps with the movement. Everything's in sync with the body and such. So if you're making some sort of attempt, think of like when you're playing a video game. You're playing like a racing game, and like you'll move your body. Some people even do the thing of like they'll stick their tongue out, which I disagree with, but people do it. I think it's along with that.
Yeah.
Where you're making a noise. It's almost like amplifying the punch or the kick.
I can see that.
Or who knows, maybe they're just trying to taunt their opponent,
punctuating it,
break them off with some meows or something like that.
Meow.
Yeah, that's the thing too.
Ki.
The eye poke. Before I leave, I know you probably touched on this earlier. What do you think is next for Tony Ferguson?
Bro, I don't know if you caught this comparison or not. I think with the way Tony Ferguson trains and the way he inflicts damage on himself by not tapping when he's clearly in a very precarious situation, I think Tony Ferguson's next step is he's just going to be Steve-O. I think he's going to start pouring hot sauce in his eyes. El Cucui's going to go out there and get his own hot sauce like Dustin Poirier. And he's just going to have a whole career either in stand-up or stapling his balls to his leg.
Oh, boy. Yeah, he's, I realize that even during his stand-up, he doesn't really do much defense. He dodges a lot, but he take a lot of hits, and especially with that, I don't know if it would be technically a heel hook or a leg lock that he was in second round, but he's willing to have it break off. Shouts to Jacare. I'm What's that?
I was also saying that. What's the difference between being tough and being like careless? You know what I mean? Like he was in the armbar with Oliveira, got like crushed with that. The next fight he's in with Beneil Dariush, getting that leg lock. With Jacare, I think he was either didn't realize how precarious that position was, or how bad the grip was, like how fast it was. But I think I could say that
he did submit. Because he did submit. I think it was just a little too late, sort of thing.
Right.
I think in Ferguson's case, a lot of it is branding as well. It feels like, like if you're known as a person that just never gives up, and you're known for your diligence and preservation and all that, you kind of, and he may actually feel that way too. But I'm sure maybe he has that in the back of his mind of like, well, if I'm branding myself, whether it be in the UFC or in a different place, or if ultimately I end up wanting to become a commentator. Just having that grit to you, having that feel of like, I'm like a boss rooting sort of thing. So I feel like that's probably a part of it. When it comes to the health, not so much. But we've seen in his other fights as well, he's not really one for defense so much. I would love to see him, especially after how he killed it at the press conference, the pre-fight press conference. I think him in a few years, maybe removed from the game a bit, would dabble in commentary. I
Yeah.
think he would be very interesting as a color commentary,
Yeah.
and I think that would be a good route for him. And people, they still rooted for him even while he was losing. So people are behind him.
How cool would it be to see him as a ESPN analyst or something like that? You know, when they do the thing where they walk over and they start like practicing a move on something, they go like, okay, so when you do this or whatever, like him giving demonstrations or something like that would be great. And I was gonna bring that up too.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you brought that up. His like on the mic skill, like again, I don't think he would be into it, pro wrestling wise, but if ECW is still a thing, like that might be that he would be great at that because he can take a lot of damage, he can do a lot of cool weird shit, and he's not
Yeah.
scared to. I mean, I showed a weird training video of his. I did air quotes. I know you're on the phone, but uh,
I felt
it's
it.
it's him at a fucking jump zone or sky zone or whatever, jumping into foam pits, dude. What are you doing? That's
That's his training.
he's diving into like those big stacked pads that they do where they just try to do a solitary
Like the ball pits, yeah,
jump,
like
yeah.
trampoline parks.
Well, even that, and then like another thing where there's like this big stack of pads that he just dives into. He's like does it like a little kid that just got there for a birthday party or something. He's not.
Oh.
I am totally aware that Tony Ferguson could fuck me up. But I'm saying as far as like professional athlete wise, it's kind of weird and laughable that they say Diego Sanchez, him and his manager, the way that they train is completely fucking weird, and the way Tony Ferguson does it that's just Tony being Tony. You know what I mean? Like,
But I will say I kind of agree with that sentiment. Like, because I think I've seen clips of that too, of like him in a ball pit. Maybe that's just his regular training. I saw a different
ball
clip.
pit would be great if he was like a Chuck E. Cheese. Take your shoes off, Tony.
You hitting up the gym? Nah, I'm a Chuck E. Cheese. Whereas like the Diego Sanchez one, that one it feels very much like a personality flip and maybe perhaps being a bit under the whims of another person.
Yeah.
And it doesn't help when you see that other person inflicting what seems to be a pain tolerance training
punching him
on
in the head
Diego
upside
Sanchez.
down. Did you see that where he's like kicking him and punching him upside
Yeah,
down?
no, that's what I saw. Yeah, it was not awful, I guess, but it was like, if the narrative there's any truth to it, that he is being brainwashed.
Yeah.
And to see that that's one of the new tactics of traiing, that it is a bit sad to see that.
Is it a little
but
CTE
that
refresh?
so sorry, I got to leave.
Oh.
My thing is about to dip off, but KG is out and he will be back.
Thanks so much,
Belong.
KG, man. Thanks for calling in.
Peace.
See you, pal. So yeah, I think there's definitely a correlation between longer careers, 15, 16-year careers of regularly getting punched in the head, and then even when your new guru is like, hey, let's do punch in head training. So let's do that thing where you hang upside down on the monkey bars, and then I just kind of wail on your head for a little bit. Just stay there though. And also, the guy was shirtless. I don't know why that bothers me so much, but like, why do you also have to be shirtless, dude? It's a weird thing. So, but I will to no end say if that's your training method, but then you show Tony Ferguson just kind of like hitting his arm and elbow and all this other shit up against a goddamn street sign or something like that, and you say that's like training, like it's he's toughening up that area, you're getting that, but also I don't know, you're also like doing somersaults. It looks like fun, it looks like cool, but it's like also yeah, who knows? I'm done judging Tony Ferguson. I'm worried. I think that's the thing. It's like that's what the same way what's his face was talking about Ian was talking about not liking watching maybe that's what he meant or not, but not watching Cowboy Cerrone fight. And just a quick shout out to Charles. What up Cupcake? He was pounding off in the comments earlier. Want to make sure I give you a verbal shout out there, but yeah, the Caitlin Chikagan thing was definitely one of the most unique controversies I saw before a fight that storyline kind of unfolding and not knowing exactly how it is. So in her mind, obviously she laughed it off afterwards because she got a win. Not, I don't know if it's because she got a win. She just could be cool with it. Like, who knows? Maybe she's just fucking cool with it. But she got the win. It was a very emotional weekend as far as fighting. There was more bone breaks. There was more controversy, very unique controversy, and a couple different new champions, I think, right? Was there? No, there's just the one championship. I don't know why, but I always think that there's more. I was like, obviously they would have the two championships next to each other, and I was like, no, the second one was Tony Ferguson. Second to last was Tony Ferguson. But while we're on the topic of Tonys, not Tony the Tiger. Oh, no. We're done talking about Tigers. That sumbitch in Houston was caught. Shout out to Karen for updating me. I was already aware of it. Dom actually let me know like earlier that same day, but Karen shared a news story with me. The Tiger was detained in Houston, so it wasn't even shot. Who knew? But the other Tony I was talking about had a little bit of news this weekend. Tony Hinchcliffe, and this is in the same vein. I talked about it a little bit last night on What About with Andy and Pat on Andy's Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Andy Malafarina. That's where we're going to be streaming for a while, as well as posting the clips on his YouTube, Andy Malafarina on YouTube, and also there should be a playlist here on Baby Mermaids. But we were talking about this a little bit last night, the Tony Hinchcliffe controversy. I had no real strong feelings about it because I didn't even know what the fuck it was. It, like a lot of things nowadays, I hear, because I very much try to limit my social media as much as possible, as far as much as I can, because I feel like that's when I'm at my mentally healthiest, is when I'm the least amount on my social media. Not necessarily on the phone. I I'll play some Pokemon. I'm gonna listen to some music or some podcasts, but for the most part, if I don't have to look at it, great. But there's oftentimes that things that happen, and I'm like, oh, what the fuck? And they're like, did you hear? No. Almost never is almost always the answer will be no. So my first introduction to this story was I believe the correction that was shared by Ari Shafir, and it was actually shared by Manny, and it was and it really stuck too, because it was like the post itself was from Ari, said something. Oh, here's the whole clip with some context or something, and I was like, what? So I watched the video, and it was a video of an Asian comedian, Peng Dang, I believe his name was, doing a set to success, having success doing comedy. I thought it was cool. He did a good job. You know what I mean? Like, it's so weird because like I never want to like. It's such an interesting thing. It's like I feel like ultimately the whole story was like, all of this controversy, everything was like like a trick to get me to watch two fucking comic sets. Like, because I'm like, because the fucking story, not knowing at all what this controversy was, I thought, okay, this video is going to make it very clear. So, and it did. It clarified at least, all right, so people are pissed off about Tony Hinchcliffe making insensitive remarks towards an Asian guy, or just being racist against an Asian dude or Asians, and not being, and essentially just not being funny. It's another one of those things where that's what ended up being the controversy. But I'm watching the sets, and I'm like, okay, this is two comic sets. One of them I'm familiar with. The other one I was not familiar with before that. And so I'm watching it, and it's just like, okay, so two comics doing comedy sets. And then you find out, all right, so the controversy was Tony Hinchcliffe going on a racist rant or something like that. No, he was attempting to do comedy and didn't do it. I think his main thing, this is what I joked about. And again, we touched on it on the What About, but there was I think where the issue mainly is when he uses the slur. So in the video, I'm sure everybody's probably already aware of it. It's basically probably everybody's already forgotten it at this point. That's how fucking like news and canceling and all this shit works. But I guess my point is, like, you didn't like. I think it wasn't even like leaked video necessarily. They knew it was being recorded. Like, Tony Hinchcliffe knew his set was being recorded. He we talked about it last night about we've all seen him in prior sets and or podcast or interview or whatever it may be. They're like, it's he kind of, and I joked about like the fact that he's very much aware of like wrestling and like heel personas and stuff like that. He definitely goes that kind of far, like that level or whatever. This is news to me. Yeah, so there's like so Ian he says this is news to me. So there was a set where basically, like I said, there was the Asian comedian did his set, and then I think this is also the timing, obviously, of like where a lot of people are sharing the Stop Asian Hate hashtag and or that sentiment of with the coronavirus and how much people have targeted the Asian community or how belittled it's feel. Like they're like, okay, we did the Black Lives Matter thing. Now let's go on to let's continue to accept more cultures and be more all that stuff. So I think that's the overall thing of like the fact that it was an Asian guy using the slur, the C word for for Asian people. Then actually, I believe it's one of Charles's favorite nicknames for somebody, but it's a but there's like that level of like, all right, but ultimately I know that he knows, like, you didn't catch him in this act. That was my point. It's like saying he knows he's being recorded. He knows that he's in front of people. He's got a microphone. And it's not like he chose that time to let his racist thoughts be known. This isn't like a Michael Richards thing where like it's like cell phone footage. So it didn't seem it it took me such a long time to really actually narrow down what the controversy was that it made me feel it reminded me of the Demi Lovato thing that happened recently about the frozen yogurt thing, where like it's taking more and more sentences into the paragraph until you actually get to the meat of what's happened here. And a lot of times people will get done talking and they'll say, like, I don't support the things that he said. Like, that's the thing, is I don't support the things that people are upset by. It's more of the, I know what his intent was. I support his intent. His intent was to be shockingly hilarious. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't like he's like, I'm going to go up there and make these people hate like life. I'm going to make these people uncomfortable, and I want to, and maybe even if that was the case, I don't know. But as far as I know, from the fact of his profession being a comedian, I believe he was going up there with the intent of being funny. So I don't support the hateful shit said. Like, it's all, obviously, it's the context. And that's what everybody kept talking about, was context of that. The context of it. And I'm like, the context of what? It's just this guy said his jokes, and then this guy went up and said his jokes to different reactions. That's what it was to me. I didn't feel like it didn't feel like news. Like when you say, Ian, when you say it's news to me, it doesn't feel like it's even news. It just feels like two comics that had a set back to back. So if that's the case, then I guess that's what I'm saying is the Demi Lovato thing was they were explaining. So for anybody that wasn't aware of that, it was Demi Lovato was upset and put on blast like a mom and pop yogurt shop that she went to that had on display low fat and or sugar free options. I think that were labeled guilt free. and she was very upset at the fact that they were diet culture vultures, which meant like they were saying they should be offering healthier options for people that that you shouldn't make people pressured to die. I still don't completely know the exact problem, but she was upset they were offering low fat and sugar free options, and that it was so predominantly on display, and also like that, and like tried to like get like was like this isn't a good look, you suck, do better, blah blah, all this other shit. But like I still am kind of confused. Like, so that's where controversies are now. Where if this is where we're at, where we're like, oh, you had that set that made me, you said those things that I didn't like, so that it's ruined my life. We need to make sure you don't ever get to say words again publicly, and going forward, because you upset people. And there's other people in the crowd that were like on like supporting him. So that's another thing of like saying like, okay, even still, it wasn't like complete silence or like to complete and total booze. It wasn't like the club was like cutting his mic and saying, you need to get the fuck out of here. So I don't know what it really is. Ian says, when I said news, I meant wasn't aware of it. Yeah, I know. Thanks again for the correction. Appreciate it. You should feel guilt for eating the fatty and sugary options. Well, it's more of it's I guess that's the thing, is like with her having suffered from eating disabilities, I guess she felt personally targeted by the fact that she was to feel guilty about choosing to enter a frozen yogurt shop and to get the sugary options as opposed to the sugar-free options. Now, also another thing is, technically, I believe the sugary options are the better option, because the sugar-free options are actually keep you from losing weight a lot of times. So as far as dieting, or just none of it, just have some water, but or fruit. But yeah, that was the whole thing. So in the same thing of, I feel like I've only exclusively heard comics talking about it. It was brought to me through my timeline through a comic by Manny. I also heard Alan and Kirk talk about it on Proper Ebonics recently. That'll be out pretty soon. So there is like it's being discussed in at least in my even just in my personal circle. Andy's talking about, like, all of my friends are like, what do you feel about this? And I'm like, I don't even fucking know what it is. I don't know what the story is here. Like, and again, I think the story, the timeline completely shifts if he doesn't drop the slur. I really feel like that's where the point. That's where it was too, like, that was too far for some people. Because really, a lot of it is him just kind of riffing. Watch the video if you like. If you're offended by racist terms or sayings or slurs, maybe don't watch it. But I would suggest watching the whole. Like, you gotta. If I watch it, you gotta watch it. But it is just a. To me, the video was an Asian comedian doing his set, and then Tony Hinchcliffe doing his set, and him. A lot of the beginning of his set. I didn't even watch the thing, because I was like, that's the controversy part, right? I didn't even watch all of Tony's set. But eventually he does, I believe, get into like material. But I'm watching it, and he's basically just kind of giving a critique of the comedian ahead of his set. So, and the audience for liking him and stuff. To me, very obviously going over the top in the hopes of humor. So that's why, like, to me, it's either laugh or don't laugh. You don't have to just go like, oh, you're mean. Stop being mean. Stop saying mean things. You could just go like, I don't like those things he's saying. But, I know he's not like, no, seriously, get the fuck out of here. I know it's not that. So, and maybe this is just because of my personal perspective of not necessarily, even if somebody is ever racist against me, it's kind of like, oh, well, don't do that. I don't feel I don't I'm not one of those people that's like, why if you can say it, why can't we say it? Nope. I don't care. You can say whatever you want. I can say whatever I want too. I don't want to say that stuff because I know that it has that much of a reaction. And even if it is in the like Manny talked about it a little bit, like saying like it's kind of even like it's like open mic vibes for it makes it feel like that thing of like, oh, did you write a good rape joke yet, or did you I don't know, like Reeves is at the open mic, but like that thing of like, oh, I want to write the perfect this joke or that joke. Like, why do you go into that? Why would you say I need to? Oh man, I want to write a great joke on this subject. Like, well then, I feel like then you got to start first by writing great jokes, and then like the premises will come. Just write jokes on what you want to write jokes on. If you feel confident enough about it, it'll be funny. But if you're like saying like, oh man, I gotta make this rape joke work, like I think you're looking at the wrong you're looking at it the wrong way here. Just try to don't worry about. So again, and this wasn't like, I don't think any of that stuff was like, oh, this is the stuff I had prepared. I believe it was off the top of his head, so I don't even think it necessarily came from his heart. I think there was a lot of things said that were in the attempt of humor, and not that I support what he said. I don't care. It's just one of those things of like, did this happen on Thursday at the Comedy Zone? Asking because I was there. What? Did what happen? No, the Tony Hinchcliffe thing? No. Tony Hinchcliffe was doing comedy in Austin. Tony Hinchcliffe is a paid comedian. I don't think he would be. I don't even know if he would ever. I don't know if he's ever actually even performed at it. I'm sure he's performed at like the Comedy Zone, probably not the Harrisburg one. I would have to assume, but yeah, there's just a situation where I don't know. I don't know where to stand on. Like, I don't want to sit here. It's a precarious situation because you don't want to sit there and say like, I support Tony's right to say hate speech. Like, that's what I think people are going to hear. But I ultimately, if I'm being completely honest, watching the video and somebody's like, can you believe this? My initial reaction was like, what? Was it this part? It could, if it was a multiple choice, I'd probably get it 50% of the time correctly. I'd say, oh, it's because he said this, right? Or is it the whole thing? Is it C, all of the above? I would get it right, though. But that's also, to be completely transparent, guys, I'd probably be guessing. Because I don't know anything about diet culture vultures. I do now. But again, still not completely clear on it. I think it's where people don't like to be made to feel guilty about wanting to eat some nummy stuff. So if they have a thing that says guilt-free, they feel like, so what, is this guilt-filled? One of them is called Death by Chocolate, like a flavor. There is a flavor Death by Chocolate. So, yeah. Like, that's gluttony. That you should feel guilty. It's a sin. It's like even biblical. There's like a weird thing, like it's built in to if you overindulge yourself, you should feel a bit gluttonous. So it's not gluten free necessarily or gluten free. Oh, is that where it comes from? But I guess it's so from what Dom I think has explained to me calmly after I shout a lot hearing about this, like, what the fuck is going on? I old man it for a while. She kind of says, I think it's the thing where, yeah, if they write guilt-free on the thing, it's to say, like, it triggers you or someone into feeling bad for eating, like, a fat shit. Or even making one fat shit decision. You should be able to, it's like, there's cheat days. There's also moderation. You can have a sugary treat but just have less of it. And then if you see that, even that, use that as a warning or a catalyst or something, that if you see that and you start to feel guilty, then meet yourself in the middle. Go in there and say, well, I'm already here. I'm going to fucking buy some yogurt. I'm not going to buy that shit because I don't support that kind of culture, but I am going to support the treat that I came in here for. But you know what? I'm going to get a small instead of a medium this time. Or I'm going to get a medium instead of a large. 1 scoop instead of 2. Whatever it may be, get yourself a treat, but get less of it. That's all about moderation. So I think if it's not that you're wrong for being offended by what Tony Hinchcliffe said, but it's also like, I think the punishment shouldn't necessarily be like he's a terrible person. Like, that shouldn't be your perception of him. And even still, I think even people, when adding context, they just shared another comic set, which I guess added context by saying, I still don't understand both scenarios completely, but I'm okay with that. I just wanted to let you guys know that there's some crazy Tonys out there, and they both might be somewhat linked to comedy, whether it be Tony Ferguson actually being Steve-O or possibly becoming Steve-O one day, or Tony Hinchcliffe. Maybe Tony Hinchcliffe is a big fan of MMA. Maybe he would go into one of those celebrity grudge matches. Him, right? This is how we solve this controversy. We got Jake Paul and we got all these boxing matches. The next Jake Paul, what's the next Jake Paul one? Oh, he's not a guy fighting. Logan Paul fighting Mayweather, right? Boom. On the same card, Tony Hinchcliffe has to fight an MMA fight against who would be Mighty Mouse? No. Ooh, Tyron Woodley. He's been released from the UFC. He could fuck him up. Tyron Woodley against Tony Hinchcliffe. No, actually, it's got to be an Asian guy, right? Should be an Asian fighter. Michelle Watterson. Perfect. Karate hottie. She would kick his ass, for sure. I think that would be great. Or Lyoto Machida. That'd be a really good fight. He can come back from Bellator. That's how we solve it. Tony Hinchcliffe, 1 round, full contact, MMA fight with either Michelle Watterson or Lyoto Machida. Coin flip. Honestly can be a coin flip. I think both of them would have equal success. Like just whooping up on them. That's how we solve it. Or we have him go some kind of death match thing where in wrestling, Hell in a Cell type deal where he goes through Korean Zombie. Oh, there we go. There we go, Ian Strong. Now we're cooking with gas. Korean Zombie. That'd be a barn burner. I mean, if by barn burner we're talking about the Korean Zombie being the flames and Tony Hinchcliffe being the barn. That would be a fucking barn burner. This has been a lot of fun, guys. Starting the week out off right. We are right at almost at the 2-hour mark. Perfectly, because I wasn't that late. I want to give you one last quick little update as far as the playlist, Slappy Boppers playlist on Spotify. There will be a link in the description of this video and the audio at the end of this episode. I just got to update it because it doesn't let me do that through the system I use. But Incubus has been added. Curveball, baby. Incubus was added. Outkast was added. Outkast has a lot of hits. At least 10, I would say. And they're all on the Slappy Boppers playlist now. And as well as Whitney Houston, which, oh my God, Manny and Dom and I were on our way to a show at Front Street Station, I think weekend before last. And, we were fucking blasting Whitney Houston. It was a lot of fun. That was a great day. Oh, a great day to you, too, Ian. You have a great day. That was a great day listening to Whitney Houston. And God damn it, guys, do yourself a favor. Go to the Slappy Boppers playlist. First of all, before you leave here, just hit like, hit subscribe, or whatever on the Baby Mermaid Productions channel. Right? We're having fun. There's going to be new episodes. New episode of Fall Count Anywhere is out today. Check out a new episode of Strong Words with Ian Strong on the audio-only version of his podcast. Don't forget to check out a new Proper Ebonics that should be out hopefully tomorrow. We're hoping. And don't forget to also check out the Slappy Boppers playlist on Spotify. Subscribe to that. Listen to it there. More playlists to come, and also more additions to come later on in the week. I love you guys.